So we're back in 4.1 for two reasons. First off, there was a thing I kind of glossed over in the World 4 video, that's because I just kind of assumed that people would know to do the shortcut, but then I realized this is no roll, and most people probably do this shortcut by rolling, but it is actually possible to do it by just sprinting. So I'm going to show that. And right now I have a scimitar equipped, so it's, I'm doing it's basically as if I had a crescent falchion, scimitar +6. So, and also while we're here, we're gonna get this key because we're also going to get the NPC merchant that you need that key for, because there is some endgame prep we're gonna want to do while we're here. So, I activated that trap so there's no risk of landing on it if we screw up the jump. So it's kind of tricky to do this without rolling, but it's not too hard. You basically just have to go straight on at it. I think I get it here. Or I screw up here and have to try again. Yeah, like right there it's like, oh, there's no way you could make this, but there we go. So yeah, you can actually do that without rolling. Pretty convenient. And now we're going to get that NPC freed. So this part's pretty easy now that we have a good weapon. And the cool thing about this is you pretty much only have to do this on regular game, because on New Game Plus you'll already have all this stuff. But if you were going to do this on New Game Plus, Soul Remains would be your best friend, because as you can see, I'm getting hit a ton. But Soul Remains makes this part way easier. So if you are going to do this on New Game Plus, which, is going to be very difficult, Soul Remains makes this much more manageable. Like, as you can see, this is just really annoying. Oh my god. Okay. So now this is probably the worst of it. These tight corridors where the skeletons will just jump you. And again, I must stress, if you're doing this on New Game Plus, use Soul Remains, because if you're not using Soul Remains, you're going to die a lot. Like right here, if it was New Game Plus, I'd throw Soul Remains into the hallway instead of just running out like this. But I actually almost got it without even getting it, but then I got that stupid push attack with the scimitar, and that ruined everything. But there we go. Now we can get to the NPC. I think it's Blige his name is or something. Reason we're getting him is because he sells Soul Remains if we need them for New Game Plus, and he sells the short bow, which is the best bow for Soul Level 1. So that's that. And once you talk to him here, he'll appear in 4.2 if you ever need him again. So now it's time for 3.1. Right now I have a Dragon Longsword +5, so I would recommend, if you haven't yet, this would be time to start preparing your endgame weapons, because you have should have World 2 beaten, World 4, and World 5, which gives you access to a lot of upgrade materials. And Dragon weapons, obviously, you're pretty much your go-to at this point, since it's your highest AR, and anything resistant to fire is already dead. And I should clarify, this is, some people might find this controversial, but I don't really care if you use the dupe glitch at this point, because if you're doing a challenge like this, you've probably already done Soul Level 1 a bunch, and you probably already have done it legit a million times. I know I have. So if you don't care, like, if you want to save time to dupe chunks of dragon stuff instead of doing suicide runs of them in the 2-2 lava pits and farming bear bugs, I don't care. You can do that if you want. Because it's not really a matter of, skill or anything there, just saving your time. So go ahead, I don't care. And also, like in Demon Souls for challenges, the dupe glitch doesn't really give you anything you can't get like just playing normally, just faster. The only thing you really can get in large quantities by duping that you can't normally get is like Dark Moongrass and maybe better arrows, which both of those things are not really that relevant. So it doesn't really give you any sort of advantage either. So now to 3.1, this level's really easy, especially with the Dragon Short Sword +5. For the Mind Flayers, if you have the Thief Ring, you can literally just run up and hit them, and they will die. It's really not a big deal at all. Also, about the short bow we just got in 4.1, we're going to be using that for the boss. It wouldn't normally be necessary in regular game, but I do want to use it just to show what the New Game Plus strategy would be, because a bow basically makes Fool's Idol a complete joke of a boss, and it's already not that hard to begin with. And also, we're going to be saving Frake while we're here. just for the sake of doing it, because while we're not using magic, if you ever wanted to, it would be good to have it out of the way before we go to New Game Plus. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, so we basically skipped the end level because there's really not much to say about this level. There's hardly any enemies, and assuming you've beaten the game several times before, it should be no challenge, even without rolling. So we're going to kill this Black Phantom just for the hell of it. The simplest way to do it is to bait her to do that, shoot her crossbow, and then punish her. That's pretty much all there is to it. You do have to be careful, though, because when you're far away, you can't see her. She has a thief ring effect, and her crossbow will kill you if it hits you. Like, I almost died right there. And if you can't see her, obviously it can be quite dangerous. So I'm going to... Oh, activate the cutscene. So I'm going to bait out her shot, and then punish her. And there we go. So now it is time for Fool's Idol. Very, very easy boss, especially that we have a really strong weapon, and we have a bow. And I'll show that off. I almost actually botched this boss, which is kind of sad, but it happens. So we're just going to even ignore these guys. That's how easy it is. New Game Plus, maybe I'd kill them just to be safe, but whatever. So just run up, do as much damage as possible. If you do half damage like this, then, you know, now basically you only have to get her one more time and it's over. So with the clones, if you do damage to them, eventually they'll disappear and then they're, you know, completely gone and there's no longer a threat of them. And obviously in a challenge like this, that's good. And the reason the bow is good is because, like this, you can damage them from a safe distance and make them disappear without any real risk of getting hit. So you can completely minimize so much of the challenge of this completely risk-free. And if you have the Thief Ring on, they have really bad ability to track where you are. So if you're patient, they'll eventually lose you, and then you can just get free shots on them. And I'm horrible with a bow because I haven't used the bow in a Souls game in like years, like probably like 4 years, like not exaggerating. I just don't bother anymore. And yeah, this is painful to watch, I gotta admit. There we go. And sometimes you have to hit them a few more times again to disappear. Like, yeah, I think I have to hit her one more time. Yep, she's not disappearing for some reason, so we'll hit her again. Gotta love that punch. There we go. So all the clones are gone. So all we have to do now is kill the Fool's Idol. But funnily enough, not being able to roll actually made this part kind of tricky, because she's surrounded by all those chairs that I can't really get through safely. Normally you just roll through and hit her, but I can't. So chairs are posing a significant problem. So I was like, oh, maybe it's easier to get her from over here. Nope, not really. But then I had a hero. He destroyed those chairs for me, so I have an opening, and she'd lost me. But of course there's a trap right there. But I had just enough time to move out of the way and kill her. Pretty easy boss.